Because in real life, people don't have time to sit around labbing. Even when I was a former pro fighting game player, I never labbed. So they're already making videos about a new character and a new gameplay mechanic before it's even in the real game, and it's already been spoiled for everyone before anyone can even play it. I feel it's just not as fun anymore. Scratching my head. This is what Street Fighter is now. Now, what I was alluding to here in the intro of the show today is very simply that, man, Street Fighter 6 has become so stressful to play at this point, all right? And it's gotten to the point where I actually feel like I want to make a special video about this, because I actually feel like fighting games have seriously changed in the last 10 to 15 years, you know, and so in some cases I would say for the better, but in a lot of cases I would also say for the worse.
I would hope that after 10 or 15 years of anything that things would change gradually. That's just the way that things go. I'm just not quite sure who he thinks that he is explaining this to. I would imagine most of his audience is gamers, and that they would be aware of the changes being made in the gaming industry over the past couple of decades. Because even if they didn't play those games themselves because they weren't alive, for example, those games still exist, and you can physically see the difference over time. But unfortunately, I do have to again agree with DSP though. That seems to be happening more recently than ever. Not all changes made to gaming, especially recently, have been for the better, but I highly doubt we have the same reasoning for this style of thinking.
And I think I have a unique take on this because I used to be around back in the days of growing up in the arcades in the 1990s. Yes, I was around playing fighting games competitively before some of the epic names like Justin Wong were even around. And I was there as games were being discovered on a daily basis. You know, what's competitive, what can be used in a match, what's a combo, what's a strategy to use, and how different the fighting game world was in that era versus the 2000s era, when it became a lot more grassroots, but the competition started to grow in size and stature, but they were still kind of relegated or limited to in-person tournaments, right, to get competition. And then how things changed during the Xbox 360, PS3 era as games like Street Fighter 4 went online and people started to play competitively over the internet. And now, of course, the modern era, where before a game even comes out, there's videos on tech on how to play it, breaking down the characters and the game's meta. Within a day of a character being released, here's how you beat the character and completely dominate them. Videos on the internet. So I think one of the things I could definitely do is make a very unique video about this. My take being that, you know, my history with fighting games and how things changed, and why, and maybe what the future may hold.
Well, I'm not really looking for any more predictions about what the future may hold from DSP Space Gaming. If you know anything about his predictions from the past, then you know full well how bad they are. Minecraft failing, for example, the biggest L in history. But he probably could make a unique video talking about his experience with the early years of Street Fighter. Of course, I say unique in a very specific way, because I don't think the video would be good or informative in any way. It would just be different in a way that only the guy really could manage. And everyone can already imagine exactly the type of video that this would be, him just complaining because he doesn't have the time, or rather doesn't have the dedication to keep up with the modern players who also enjoy fighting games. He's washed and is desperately looking for any way he can to cope in order to try and protect his fragile little ego.
But just to give you guys some perspective here, right? Like, M. Bison hasn't even been out in Street Fighter 6 for a week yet. Not even a single week. Tomorrow would be the 1 week anniversary of when this character has been out in Street Fighter 6. Within 1 week, people already know the absolute best tech and combos. People already know the ways to completely shut down this character. It hasn't even been a week. And here I am, you know, trying to learn the character, studying these videos of top players playing and everything, and trying to figure stuff out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just scratching my head. This is what Street Fighter is now. You know, like, already a week in, it's as if the character has been in the game since the start. You know, I'm trying to learn slowly and adjust and I'm just trying to get timing down. I'm trying to get muscle memory down for combos and the like, because I'm not very good at it right now. And every time I play the game, I end up dropping a lot of my inputs and everything. And it leads, literally dropping one input in Street Fighter 6 at this point leads to a loss. It's not even like, oh, you made one mistake, big deal, you can recover. It's like, oh no, then they hit you with a 70% combo. And now the round is over unless you get incredibly lucky. And it's like, what happened to fighting games that every single person that you play, like, there's no opportunity to even learn anymore?
What does that even mean, though? There are more opportunities than ever to learn, and you just said as much. There are far more tools now than ever to look into a game and figure out exactly how it works to level up your game. I mean, aren't you literally watching tech videos online? Aren't you the guy who is watching different combo tutorials? Aren't modern fighting games putting more resources and dev time into proper replay mechanics so you can actually see where you went wrong in every match? Sorry, interest in video games has grown exponentially in the past few decades, and the player pool is much wider than it was previously, making the competition harder, but that doesn't make anything you said true.
It's just you better go into it at top level. And it's funny because there's people in the chat who come by my fighting game streams who said, I just tried to play fighting games and I can't even play. I just wanted to try Street Fighter, so I bought it and I tried to play. I literally haven't won a match in 2 days that I've been trying to play. I can't win a single match. Even though I watched some videos, I did the tutorials, I go online and everyone just spanks me with these patterns. Yeah, like that's what fighting games are now. It's not like it used to be. There's not even like a window of discovery anymore, where it used to be, oh, something new is in a fighting game, everyone's going to jump into the game and try to learn it, and we all learn it at each other's pacing. Instead, it's already completely blown out, explained, extrapolated, the meta is already determined, posted all over the internet. So if you weren't sitting there days before something new hit, studying, you might as well not even play.
Well, that's just silly. I thought that the idea of playing games was to have fun, and winning does not necessarily dictate whether fun can be had or not. But like I said, competition in these games has grown. People are better. They are spending more time trying to be better. If winning is something you care to do in an online competition, then sorry, bud, you might want to try and put in the time required to actually get to an acceptable level. Winning isn't the end-all be-all of video games, though. You can enjoy games regardless of win rate. You just have to have that mindset going in, which DSP could never, because too much of his own self-worth is tied up in whether or not he's good in Street Fighter, which if you ask me is just kind of sad. And you can even see in the streams and the way that he does them that winning and being good takes precedent over putting on an entertaining stream that people might actually want to watch. And then he wonders why his retention rate is as bad as it is. He wonders why his viewer count is as low as it is.
You know, there's some games where studying up and understanding mechanics before you play the game makes sense. Like the FromSoft franchise, Elden Ring particularly, Dark Souls, the games don't really do a great job of explaining everything. If you look into those games online and you kind of like research everything ahead of time, you absolutely will have a much better time playing through them. There's almost like a moment of ding, the light bulb hits above your head. Oh, that's how that works. This is how that works. Cool. And then you start to really appreciate the game more. Right?
I guess, potentially. It really all depends on how you want to approach and experience these games, though. The same thing can really be said about fighting games. If you don't understand the mechanics of a fighting game or you can't put together a combo to save your life, looking up these videos the same way you would in a Souls game could be the difference in your liking or disliking of the game. I know a lot of people who don't look things up when playing games, and I know a lot of people who do look things up when playing games. Shout out to a lot of people, obviously. The main point is that you are in control of how you do and don't enjoy these video games, and it's up to you to play the ones that you do. It just seems strange to me to constantly be picking apart all of these games and acting as though everybody is supposed to be enjoying them the exact same way that you do, when that's never been really how this worked at all.
And man, in regards to fighting games, at this point, it really does feel like it's like there's a window of maybe 3-4 months when a fighting game first comes out, right? Where everyone's kind of exploring and enjoying. And once that initial kind of honeymoon period is over, you might as well not even play unless you're going to be serious about being competitive in the game. You will not have fun. You're just going to get spanked by people who play constantly. And there's all reasons for this. You know, now that there's teams and the idea that you can make it big and be a pro streamer or a pro player and get signed and get sponsorships, this could be your career and you could blow up on the internet and get views. That's way fucking different than when I grew up, when there was nothing to it at all. It didn't matter if you were the best Street Fighter player on the planet. It was still your hobby. No one was making a living doing it. So we all did it for the fun of it. And to some extent, that made it feel a lot more genuine than people who just sit there try-harding the fucking game out to try to get some kind of milking it for something for themselves rather than just enjoying it and getting good at it.
Genuinely, how many people does he think are actually trying to make any money off of playing Street Fighter 6 though? Granted, there were like a record number of entrants for EVO this year, but online? I think he's greatly overestimating the number and frequently misunderstanding why people play games, probably due to his own skewed view on video games and how they relate to making money. I would imagine, more often than not, these people he plays online with that wreck him the way that they do just enjoy dunking on people in an online match and improving improving over time. Because before money, before sponsorships, online competitive gaming has always been that way. It just so happens that now people have more time and dedication to it than they did previously. Sure, maybe the introduction of money and sponsorships have made it so that more people can justifiably spend more time practicing and playing online, but I think that that's a way smaller amount of people than DSP really thinks.
So the truth is that I feel it's just not as fun anymore playing fighting games. By the way, this does not mean that I'm not enjoying them and I'm going to stop playing them, especially with my year of Street Fighter 6 and being reintroduced to competitive fighting games. It's been awesome, but there's also a ton of stress. Like yesterday, I went into this Street Fighter 6 stream, a day stream yesterday with M. Bison, with the mentality that I was going to play casual play for like an hour. I was going to relax with the audience. Every 2-3 sets, I was going to relax, have a conversation with the audience, do shout outs and the like, and then go back into the game with a fresh mindset. I wasn't going to allow myself to get tilted or anything. For the most part, that happened until the very end of the stream when I actually didn't have time to take a break because I only had like 15 minutes left, so I just kept going. And that's actually the time when I got really, really tilted. All right, at the very end of the stream.
Wow, what a retcon. This dude was absolutely seething during every one of those 5-minute breaks. In fact, they probably did more harm than good because they just postponed him getting back into a match and continuing to play, which is obviously what he wanted to do. He was forced to sit there and try to retroactively come up with excuses as to why he lost the match. In my last video, I mentioned how bad of an idea it was, a 5-minute break every 15 minutes, but what I couldn't possibly imagine was not only would it be a huge waste of time, but also it would serve to make him more angry than he already was. And for anybody who didn't actually see that Street Fighter 6 stream in question, you honestly didn't miss all that much. It was the normal Street Fighter 6 salt, just with copious amounts of dead air in between every few matches.
But man, let me tell you, I'm just like playing the game. I'm like, I want to get better with Bison, but if I get a single dropped input, it's like the end of the world. Like I might as well not even have booted the game up. And that happened many times where, you know, I'm in the midst of a match. It's like, okay, here's the combo. Standing medium, low medium, standing medium, EX is, oh, my third standing medium dropped completely. Even though it's the easiest sequence, it's not even a tough timing. It's super easy. So now they punish the fact that the scissors came out and their whole round is over. Oh, okay. Oh, look, I'm about to win. Double jumping medium punch. Only the first medium punch comes out. The second one completely drops. So now I land next to the opponent in a disadvantageous position, and then they take advantage by putting me in the corner and the game's over. Oh.
Now, I'm no Street Fighter aficionado, quite the opposite actually, but I can see gameplay and for the most part understand it. I have seen DSP Street Fighter 6 gameplay, as unfortunate as that actually is, and quite often I end up seeing matches where he makes mistake after mistake after mistake, constantly jumping in and getting punished, repeating the same combo over and over again and getting perfect parried, so he can complain and cry all that he wants and say that it only takes one mistake to lose, and that may be the case sometimes, but it definitely isn't all of the time. And DSP loves to act as though all of the matches he loses because of his own mistakes just don't exist and instead are attributed to online combos or whatever the hell makes him feel better in the moment.
You know, and that's what I mean. Like back in the day, you made one mistake. Okay, maybe in some cases that would be it. But in modern games, with the fact that the damage potential is so high and it's not hard to do those combos, like back in the day, okay, maybe you could destroy someone, but it was like an infinite combo that took a lot of execution and practice to do. Today it's like, oh look, 3 hits, drive rush, 3 hits, super cancel. Oh look, you lost 70% of your life. And anyone can do it. Not tough. All you gotta do is see someone do it. I mean, there's 5,000 fucking tutorial videos on YouTube about how to do it. So you just watch a few, you practice it a few times. Here you go.
Anyone can do it but you, apparently. To me, that's always been the funniest part about him trying to gatekeep as an old school FGC style guy. As fighting games have made the controls easier to execute and allowed more people to play, DSP has continuously lambasted them while simultaneously not been able to do anything with them. These combos are so easy, but just earlier in this clip he was talking about trying desperately to get timing down and not drop his inputs. The same thing is true when he complains about flowchart combos. They are so easy to do, but DSP never capitalizes on it. Not only does he never capitalize on it, but he can't even stop them despite it being the same combo over and over again. At this point, man, just admit you're bad and move on. It's not worth all of this. I can't imagine anyone other than trolls wanting to hear you cry any more about this than they already have. The fact that you went as far as to set up mandatory blinking and cool-off segments in order to try and squeak out wins should have been the sign that it's time to stop.
So for me, you know, just trying to learn Bison and not someone who's sitting there studying watching endless videos. I have watched top videos of Bison, but I haven't been studying these fucking tutorial videos necessarily. I'm not sitting there labbing. Yes, this is what really gets me. Labbing. Literally people saying, Phil, I don't get it. You don't sit in training mode endlessly practicing your combos and your timing. And so when you're playing online, you drop stuff and you get frustrated. Why aren't you labbing? Labbing. Because in real life, people don't have time to sit around labbing. Even when I was a former pro fighting game player, I never labbed. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You play the game. That's how you learn.
How is that even an argument? You didn't practice. That's why you were never the best. That's why you were mid at best and placed fourth even at your peak. The best players, your Justin Wongs, your Taquitos of the world, they practice. They practice all of the time and forever. This is just an insane perspective. People who want to be good practice. I don't know how he ever came to this mindset, but it is just otherworldly stupid, and the fact that this agitates him so much to me just proves that even he knows that this is stupid and is just angry. That in order to be good, you do have to lab and practice, something that he isn't willing to do and honestly was never willing to do.
You don't learn by sitting in training mode ad nauseum, practice combo, 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 practice combo. Because then guess what? You're just a fucking bot. You're just someone who's regurgitating a formula that you programmed into your head with muscle memory, rather than someone who's intelligently fucking thinking. Why do you think there's so many people online that can actually do these crazy combos or a mix-up pattern in the corner, but the moment you rattle them, and you get them out of that flowchart, they don't even understand how to play fighting games. So they're stuck eternally at like the 4 to 5 star diamond level. They can't ever push into master, or if they do, they completely die and lose every match. And those are the people who have 1,300 master ranking points because they can't win. They don't know how to play fighting games. They just labbed all day. So they have the muscle memory, but they have no fucking knowledge of how to play the game.
But getting that muscle memory in from labbing over and over again means that you won't drop those combos as often, something that, again, DSP already stated in this very clip is something that he struggles with. Also, getting in that muscle memory allows you to free your brain up to think about other aspects of the match, like what my opponent is doing, what moves and tactics does their character have that I should be looking and prepared for. And it's those kinds of things that would take these flowchart players to the next level, no? So, as per usual with DSP space gaming, it seems he doesn't actually understand anything. Imagine that.
So anyway, that's what I mean. Like, all this shit is just so different from back when I used to play competitive fighting games. I kind of feel like I could make a whole video about it, maybe like a half-an-hour video that would kind of explain, and it might open some eyes. I'm certainly not saying that modern fighting games are terrible by any means. I'm just saying it doesn't feel very welcoming or friendly to anyone who's not going to be committing endless amounts of time. There is no casual play anymore in modern fighting games. It just doesn't exist. The moment you jump online, you're facing tryhards who play so much and lab all day that you can't even fucking try shit. Like, oh, my first time playing a new character, let's experiment. Oh, I just got completely dominated in 10 seconds. I didn't know what I was doing, and they just completely destroyed me. I didn't even have a chance to press a button. Oh, that's a fun fighting game, right? I mean, no. And that's the online experience in Street Fighter 6 and others as well, but Street Fighter 6 is pretty bad. Anyway, so the point I'm making here is that yesterday in Street Fighter 6, here I am approaching it. I'm going to be cool and calm. I'm going to approach it in a new way. It was ridiculous. Like, in casual play, I did all right. I think I won, like, 13 matches, and I lost, like, 8 or something like that. So I won way more than I lost in casual play. The moment I started playing at ranked 5-star diamond with Bison, first of all, I only fought 4 fucking characters. Now, that's an exaggeration. I think I fought 2 Kims, maybe 1 Aki, maybe not. I think I fought 1 JP, but it was, like, an army of fucking Camis, M. Bisons, Ryus, and Akumas. And that was it. It was like cycling 4 characters. That's not fun. That's boring as dirt. Only fighting against the same 4 characters. You just don't want to play anymore. Like, dude, it's the same shit again. I'm bored of this. Give me any other character. Like, I would take a Jury. I would take Ken's. Give me any character, even a top tier character. Just give me something for variety so I can have fun. No, it's the same 4 characters in a circle. Just tryhards. All they do is they want to pick the new hot top tier character and just, oh, I want to get wins. I want to get the master.
Oh, heaven forbid that people who want to win take advantage of the meta, I guess. And look, I get it. As someone who plays FPS games online, it is really obnoxious when someone uses the OP meta weapon or whatever, but that's the way that the competitive scene works. You can't legitimately fault the players for playing the game in a way to win. That's just silly. That's kind of the entire reason they're there. Yet here we have the guy doing exactly that, thinking about making a video-style video even, to complain about that exactly. And he says that he would be willing to take a Jury or a Ken match just for variety's sake, but he only says that up until he actually goes up against a good one. And then we all know that he'd be seething all the same after just a few matches.
Lame. It's a bad mentality, you know? Well, what I find hilarious are these Camis that are eternally stuck at 5-star diamond and cannot get the master. I mean, Cammy's a launch character. It's been over a year. If you didn't get her to master yet, you're probably never getting her to master. It's time to try something different. Like maybe try to learn how to play the game instead of just learning the one pattern that got you to 5-star diamond but will never get you to the next level because you have no actual knowledge of fighting games. Maybe stop labbing and actually like learn fighting games instead. Just saying.
They beat you, though. They beat you fairly consistently, might I add. So what does that say about you? Shouldn't your superior knowledge of fighting games make that match favorable for you? Shouldn't you be winning them more often than not? If you're the shining example of what a master rank player can be, you're the example that everybody should be striving to, I don't think that the 5-star diamond cammies are really missing all that much competition. In fact, it sounds like these 5-star diamond cammies are more competition than you could probably ever be. Master rank be damned.
Anyway, so yeah, like yesterday was just not a good session for me. I genuinely was going into it with a fresh mindset that I was going to play it differently, and by the end of the day, I was just as frustrated and pissed off, and I felt like it was a waste of time. I think I gained all day 150 master ranking points. At least I gained points, but still, I'm playing 3+ hours, right? And I'm absolutely like ridiculous. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do to enjoy the game when it's the same 4 characters in a loop. If I drop one move, I can't. That's it. Game over. Right? It's oh my god. It's like mind numbing. Gives you a headache. Makes you feel like this is what the game is now. I can't even have fun. It's not even like I can jump online and wow, in 3 hours I played like 12, 13 different characters and it was good variety and we had good matchups. No, every matchup's played exactly the same. It's like you're playing the same thing 17, 18 times. It's like sitting in a photocopy. You're just photocopying the same thing over and over for 3 hours straight. It's not fun. That's not good at all. But what's happened is I feel like when everyone decided that they were going to put all of their tech online, meaning I'm going to make this video. Here's how you do the meta with Cammy, right? Well, guess what? Now everyone copied it and everyone plays it exactly the same. So now there's no originality. There's no discovery. There's no anything that's unique or interesting in the game. It's just the same pattern over and over. Put me to sleep.
Then maybe playing these games in a competitive sense isn't for you anymore, boss. Have you ever considered that this is the way competitive games are moving? This is how the community is progressing, and it has been progressing for years. If it ain't for you, that's fine, just quit playing. I had a similar experience playing Rainbow Six Siege back in the day. I wasn't willing to watch the videos that would grant me all of the tactics and map knowledge required to be good at the game. And after being bad for a while, I just had to accept that in order to be better, I had to be willing to watch those videos to learn. Quite honestly, I didn't want to do that, so I just quit playing, and I think that that's okay. The game just isn't meant for me in that way. But I guess this is where DSP's Street Fighter career mirrors his actual real-life streaming career. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that he is unwilling to learn and progress, but also unwilling to understand that it's time to call it quits and hang it up. For years now, he's been raging against the dying of the light, but the sad reality is it might be within his best interest to just lay down and give up and do something else.
Right? It's not what the spirit of fighting games even is supposed to fucking be. That's the Street Fighter V mentality. That's why Street Fighter V was a terrible game, because there was no creativity. It was literally everyone playing the game exactly the same. Now, when you get out of certain characters, it's played like I very rarely see a Dalsim that's played identically across the board. Zangief, I rarely see a Zangief that's played identically. Blanca is like really unique. Every Blanca seems to play a little different. That's cool, and that's what I like about Street Fighter 6. It does have that variety to it, thankfully. It's not just the same thing. So it has the best of both worlds. You got your shitty pattern play of Street Fighter 5 for those who suck at fighting games, and then you've got actual unique play with some ingenuity and imagination to it with certain other unique characters. So it does have that balance. But I hate this pattern shit, and that's what the game is becoming online. Almost every person now has just memorized the pattern, and this is how I play, and that's not how you play fighting games. But they think it is, because they're squeaking out wins, because that's how the game's been designed, you know?
If that's the way that the game has been designed, then that is how you play the game, you absolute ignoramus. I'll never understand how he can say some of the things that he says and not see how it instantly contradicts his own point. And yet he wonders why no one takes him at his word, why no one believes anything he says or takes him seriously. He's practically arguing against himself half of the time in the weirdest way possible. It's not a joke when other detractors say that DSP is his own biggest detractor, not only because he's directly responsible for putting himself in all of the situations that he finds himself in, but also because he's constantly contradicting his own point and battling against his own perspective.
Anyway, so yesterday, I was so stressed out because my whole intention was to try to get Bison to master, or at least get him a little closer. I literally, again, played for 3 hours, got like 150 ranking points. At that rate, it'll take me another 7 streams, you know? Well, okay, that's another exaggeration. It'd probably take me like at least another 3 or 4 streams of playing to get him to master. I don't even want to do that. Like, I really don't. I don't want to play these same people, these same fucking matchups. They're boring. They're very boring to me. So I'm wondering what's going to happen when it comes to Thursday when I come back from my break, the mainstream of Street Fighter 6, more Bison. I'm going to do some casual again. I'm probably going to try to reduce the amount of casual play I do because I kept going. I went almost an hour and a half of casual play. And then I realized, oh man, now I just don't have enough time to get as far in ranked as I wanted. I kind of screwed that up, and that's on me. But it was because I didn't feel confident enough. I was playing and I was like dropping an input, bad execution. And why? Because I don't play enough to hang with these people. I play Street Fighter, once every 3 days, and I play it for only a few hours. A lot of these people, like I said, they're labbing all fucking day. Then they jump online, they play at night. It's like, dude, this is all they do. Yet they're stuck at 5-star diamond. So again, in some cases, it's not just about time invested. It's about level of ingenuity and intelligence and understanding rather than just pattern play ad nauseum. I think that's what a lot of people are missing in Street Fighter. Anyway, so the point I'm making here is, no exaggeration right now. Today we're about to play Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, okay? I'm excited for it. We're in a whole new area we unlocked. I'm going to check out this whole northwestern area of the map and see what's there and see where it goes from there. And I'm excited for that, but it's like, I'm actually realizing playing Elden Ring today will likely be less stressful and more enjoyable than when I played Street Fighter yesterday. I'm actually going to have more fun, more discovery, right? Because we're going to see new stuff. You see my point? You're playing Street Fighter 6, you don't even get to see anything new. It's the same fucking patterns over and over. I'm playing Elden Ring, we're going to see new areas, new bosses, new dungeons, right? I'm going to enjoy this a lot more today. That says something.
Honestly, it does say something. It says you should probably just focus on playing that instead of forcing yourself to play Street Fighter 6 and have a miserable time. If that truly is how you feel about it, at least. Of course, we'll never know how he actually feels about Elden Ring because, as is always the case with a FromSoft DSP playthrough, a lot of the enjoyment that he's been getting out of not only the base game of Elden Ring but now the DLC is due to the constant chat hand-holding that is going on at all times. If they're not guiding him from one point to another, they are absolutely guiding him and how he should continue to build his character's build in order to have the least amount of problems with the game. A style of gameplay that definitely cannot be replicated in Street Fighter 6.
You know, it really does say something. One of the most challenging games out there, crushing difficulty. I'm going to enjoy and be more relaxed to play this today. But it's just the fact, okay? Yeah, I'm excited for Elden Ring today, and I'm actually like wondering what the hell's going to happen when I play Street Fighter 6 again on Thursday, all right? Anyway, like I said, I'm strongly thinking about doing like maybe a half-an-hour video. The question is, where should I put it? Because I was thinking I would put it on DSP Reacts, but if I put it there, that channel doesn't get very much views or traction. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I put it on this channel, but I almost never do a talking-style video besides my podcast on this channel. So I don't even know what to do to put it somewhere that people would actually see the video and care. That's a problem. I have too much. All my channels are like squared away to be this formula of what you're expecting on it, right?
Yeah, you did design them that way though, stupid. You created your own problem, just like you always do. It is kind of funny though to hear him say that the React channel doesn't get many views. I mean, we already knew that, but I always find it humorous when he acknowledges it anyway. Now that we're this far into the clip though, I am only left wondering what the point of making a separate video would even be. Have you not already said everything that you needed to say? Have you not already said your piece? Because it seems like we've been on this for long enough that you should have by now. And if you haven't, then honestly, you have no business making that style of content anyway, because it would just be a waste of time if it was going to take you any longer than you've already taken.
Anyway, so let's quickly, well, I already talked about the schedule, right? I already did. Yeah, we don't even have to do that. I already kind of told you what the next 3 days of schedule are.
And I know that I just interrupted, but I have to point out that he genuinely has so little to talk about, he was about to default into repeating the schedule segment. If that's where you're at, man, just end the show. Just get into the gameplay. Unfortunately, that won't happen, and instead he continues to talk about Street Fighter, but wouldn't that have been nice? Wouldn't it have been an actual blessing upon his viewers to not waste their time with more drivel and instead just get into the gameplay? You know, the thing that they supposedly show up for?
Can I put it on all three? I mean, I could, but isn't that kind of diluting the message when the same exact video is on 3 channels, right? Oh no, Lord X Law says, so the main issue is that fighting games are too competitive now and it's hard to keep up. No, the problem is that today, due to factors that are very different from back in the day, meaning by spreading the competitive information about a fighting game to the masses right away, you get personal gain from it, right? You make money, you get views, you get notoriety, right? Then all of a sudden you can immediately adopt that. You get noticed. Oh, maybe I get signed for a team. Maybe I get a sponsorship. Maybe I can make big money on my streams. Because of all that, there is literally no time of discovery anymore in any fighting game. The moment a new character is released or a new DLC patch comes out, everyone knows everything within a day. And that era of discovery, that time frame when a new fighting game was released or an update to a fighting game was released, used to be one of the most fun, enjoyable times because everyone was on the same equal footing, messing around, trying to learn everything, and you would have fun new gameplay mechanics, people experimenting with new things, people trying to see how things fit, and it would last a while. Today, it's literally 5 minutes. In some cases, it's no time at all because they have access to new content, certain people, before it's even released. So they're already making videos about a new character and a new gameplay mechanic before it's even in the real game, and it's already been spoiled for everyone before anyone can even play it.
So the actual answer to that chatter was yes then. The problem is that fighting games are too competitive and hard to keep up with. All that nonsense about personal incentive and putting tech videos out had nothing to do with the actual crux of the issue, which really just boils down to that people are more knowledgeable faster than DSP and he can't make up for it. It really is as simple as that. It doesn't matter how much he tries to twist it and add a bunch of nonsense words into his answer, it doesn't change what the reality is. It just never really fails to astonish me that regardless of how unrelated other content creators seem to be in a situation, that DSP can't help but put all of the blame on them. He really will stop at nothing in order to make sure that everything is not his fault and that he's done everything correct.
It's just, in my opinion, when they decided that everything should be instant gratification, instead of earning it by playing and learning yourself, it's now, hey, the moment something is out, everyone knows about it because it's already online. Every plot is spoiled. Every Easter egg is found. Every nuance of the meta of anything competitive is already exposed within 24 hours. When that happens, there is no fun factor to a game anymore. You've already exposed everything. Like, how do you even have a good time? Oh, it's a feeling of a new game. No, it feels old within a day because everyone already knows everything.
There should still be fun in the actual playing of the game though, at least I would imagine. If not, then again, I ask that you hang up your gaming cred, whatever that's even worth at this point, you bum, and just focus on single player, non-fighting game style games. You don't belong in this setting, or at least in the Street Fighter community if this is your mentality. If you don't want to learn about a game and all of its nuances through online means, that's fine, but you can't fault people who do. And doing these kinds of segments isn't doing you or your image any favors. You just come off as an outdated old man reminiscing on the good old days and hating anything new simply because it's not how it used to be and you are unwilling to adapt.
Right? When a new character comes out, you should be able to have fun with them at least for a little bit before it's so serious that, oh, I took one hit because I made a mistake. I lost the entire game. What the fuck just happened? It's brand new. How the fuck does everyone know this right from the get-go? Within 24 hours of Bison being out, already everyone knew you can't do a scissor kick because someone could just punish it with standing light kick into a free combo. How the fuck did you know that? How does every player know that? Because some fucking dunce made a video, how to beat Bison, and they spoiled it. So no one discovers it naturally. Everyone just knows it within 24 hours, and now you've basically ruined the entire discovery period for the character. And that takes the fun factor out of the game. That's my point. It's not that everyone's trying to play harder. Hey, that's naturally going to happen when now there's a reward. There's now a carrot at the end of the stick. It used to be you just do it for fun and bragging rights. Now, if you get competitive in a fighting game, you have a chance to get signed, to make money in a setting, playing tournaments and traveling with a team. You could get sponsorships. You can make money on a stream. So I get it. Like, there's now a goal at the end that you could profit from being good. But the fact that because that's happened, now fighting games are no fun to be played, you ruined it. Like, what's the fucking point? Unless you plan on becoming a pro player in a fighting game, what exactly is the incentive to be playing Street Fighter 6 right now?
For fun. It's really that simple. Honestly, that should always be the goal when playing games, even if you are making money off of it. I think enjoying the game and having a pleasant experience should be the primary goal. Obviously, that's not how DSP sees video games though, because he's seen video games as an apparatus to make money for so long, it's impossible for him to envision games as anything but that.
Like I said, I've had people the last couple of months come into the chat saying, man, I like watching your Street Fighter 6, so I tried to play it. I just get bodied endlessly. I can't even win a single round. Everyone just dominates me with insane combos and strategies, and I have no chance to even win a single game. Yeah, that's lame. That's sad, actually. It didn't used to be like that. You actually had a chance to kind of fuck around in the games earlier and have fun, even if you weren't so serious. Now it's like every fucking player is a super aspiring to be, you know, the next top player kind of deal, and it sucks the fun out of the fucking game. See, I completely disagree. Epsilon Knight says the games themselves have the tools to improve, though. Back in the day, some people would have exclusive tech they didn't share, and they bodied everyone with it, and that's not fun. No, actually, that's the opposite. It was super fun. Because here's what would happen. You'd be the best person in your community. But then you would leave your community to go to a tournament. And the tournament was a get-together of all different people from the region, maybe even people flying across the country. Shit, maybe even people flying in from another country to perform at a tournament And that's when you were exposed to all of this tech. It wasn't just, I go to the tournament to compete. It's, you're going to the tournament to learn. This is your opportunity to educate yourself on the game and to see new strategies and figure stuff out, because for the first time you get exposed to this melting pot of gameplay that you couldn't find because there was no online to spew it all out on within 24 hours. So the tournament was a super fun event because it was where you would actually get to see the best of the best duke it out, show their skill, and no one had any clue who was going to win. At any waking moment, you could have a nobody walk in from the streets and have some strategy you've never seen and dominate the top players. That was incredibly fun. That doesn't exist anymore at all because everyone knows the tech right away. And that has ruined that feeling of chance and discovery and kind of like almost like, you know, you never know what's going to happen. That's fun. That fun's gone. Where is it? Everyone knows everything. Everyone has the same combos, the same patterns, the same gameplay, the same fucking flowchart, right? Oh, within 24 hours, no one ever scissor kick again with Bison because you can punish it immediately. Why the fuck do we know that within 24 hours? That's stupid as shit.
And Punish Toxicity in his chat, right now, is saying my thoughts exactly. That sounds like gatekeeping, and it is. DSP is absolutely a long-time gatekeeper when it comes to fighting games, despite never actually being a very good member of the community to begin with. He longs for the days when no one really knew anything about the games, and in order to be good at them, you had to go to these tournaments. You had to know someone, like himself, who would show you a thing or two about a thing or two. He loathes the fact that people can now just find new strategies online and be better than him without ever having to go through all of these unnecessary hoops. It's the same reason that he's always complaining about modern controls. He just doesn't like that people, at least in his eyes, don't have to work as hard to play at a level that used to be impressive and in fact have an easier time surpassing him. But I think that that's going to be the end of this one. Despite all of his moaning and complaining about trying to get M. Bison to master rank, he did exactly that on the 4th of July. Of course, that wasn't the end of the story and he had to get on the pre-stream to flex on the haters some more the following day, but I'm not going to be taking a look at that because instead I want to take a look at some of the comments from the last video, so of course it's big ups to the 60 skulls, obviously. Go to Bohm says, never heard of someone who has to always be in manual mode for blinking. Most humans are able to have it done automatically. What's next, manual breathing? And you know damn well that that's absolutely a possibility when it comes to the guy. I think if you give it long enough, we might even have segments where he's actively checking his pulse on his neck or on his wrist and trying to tell everybody that he needs to calm down because his heart rate is just too high. Navi What says, I thought hydration checks were silly, but blink checks is ridiculous. I guess just let this be a reminder that when you think that the guy can't sink any lower, he can't be any more stupid or silly, that he'll always manage to find a way. And Be Awesome One came through with a timestamp saying, of course this comment is dented. It was written by Spider12, the same dent that wrote this big comment about detractors and how they only do it for the money. And I instantly knew exactly who Be Awesome One was talking about because I remember making a video on that comment as well. It appears that this guy has just figured out the secret to getting DSP to read his nonsense on his stream. Thank you for letting us know, Be Awesome One. And thank everybody for watching this video, especially if you made it this far. Hopefully I catch all of you guys in the next one, but until then, make sure that you check out other detractor content and dive deeper into that. Snortex.
To blink like this.